In Chapter 14 of The Mandalorian, Djarin and Grogu head to the planet Tython, where they run into some trouble while trying to connect with the Jedi. This episode had a ton of fan service and action, and of course, a new batch of Star Wars references. Let's break it all down. The episode is called The Tragedy. Since nobody actually dies in the episode, perhaps this is a reference to the tragedy of
Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Not a story the Jedi would tell you. Though maybe we're talking about the Razor Crest, which was blown to bits. That poor ship has been through a lot. Boba Fett arrives in his iconic ship, Slave One. The ship's first appearance was in The Empire Strikes Back, and it's had many appearances over the years, including the Clone Wars. As Grogu sits on the Seeing Stone, we see him meditating like many Jedi before him throughout the franchise. Force-sensitive beings used meditation to make it easier to connect to the Force with a clear mind. Also, note the blue butterflies. This may be a stretch, but it could be a reference to Ben Solo. In the official YouTube series Star Wars Rollout, it showed that Ben Solo was also connected to blue butterflies. It's now confirmed that Boba Fett is the mysterious character played by Temuera Morrison at the end of Chapter 9. He's been tracking Mando to get his armor. It turns out he survived the Sarlacc pit after all. Also, when we first see him this episode, he's armed with a Gatterfree or Gaffy stick, a melee weapon of the Tusken Raiders. This line,
"I'm a simple man making his way through the galaxy, like my father before me,"
is a callback to a scene between Jango Fett and Obi-Wan on the planet Kamino in Attack of the Clones.
"I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe."
Also, this exchange between Din and Boba Fett,
"Nice shot. I was aiming for the other one,"
is a reference to a famous line from The Magnificent Seven.
That was the greatest shot I've ever seen.
Worst. Was aiming at the horse.
Ming-Na Wen's character Fennec Shand returns from Season 1. The last time we saw her was in Chapter 5 when an unseen person saved her. It turns out it was Boba Fett. It's confirmed that the army of suits shown at the end of Chapter 12 were Dark Troopers, which we see in action here. While there are currently multiple phases of Dark Troopers in canon, these appear to be Phase 1. The name was first introduced in the video game Star Wars Dark Forces, which is now considered non-canon in Star Wars. They've since appeared in over half a dozen video games, including the Battlefront series. Moff Gideon's Imperial Light Cruiser appears again after we last saw it in Chapter 11 and 12. Before The Mandalorian, this Architens-class light cruiser was never seen before in live action, but it was frequently shown in the Clone Wars and Rebels. We learned that Jango Fett was a foundling like Din Djarin, who was adopted into the way of the Mandalore. Boba Fett also tells Din that his father fought in the Mandalorian Civil Wars. In the Clone Wars, Prime Minister Almec of Mandalore claimed Jango wasn't a Mandalorian.
"Jango Fett was a common bounty hunter. How he acquired that armor is beyond me."
Perhaps this was just a slight against foundlings. Mando asks Cara for help finding Miggs Mayfeld, who was Bill Burr's character in Season 1. The last time we saw him was in Chapter 6 in a jail cell. Mayfeld is a mercenary and former sharpshooter in the Imperial military. After appearing in the finale of Season 1, the Darksaber returns. Here, Moff Gideon uses it to taunt Grogu for some reason. As we learn in Chapter 11, Bo-Katan is looking for the Darksaber. In the credits, it was revealed that this episode was directed by filmmaker Robert Rodriguez. While he's known for directing Sin City, From Dusk Till Dawn, and his Mexico trilogy, I'm partial to the faculty. What did you think of Chapter 14? Let us know in the comments below and subscribe for more Mandalorian videos.